We're going to be going over why you're not actually burnt out, why you don't need motivation, but instead you just need alignment. And as always, if you like and enjoy this training, make sure you leave a like and a subscribe down below for more. Let's dive in. The question for you is, have you ever been burnt out before from doing something that you absolutely love to do? No, right? It's very rare. Usually when you do something that you love to do, like when I coach and I create these trainings and help people transform themselves, I love it. It gives me energy. It's not like I get burnt out or I have to wake up in the morning and go do it. But maybe right now that you're noticing that you are constantly trying to work harder and accomplish more, but you're just feeling more empty and drained. Or you're forcing yourself to push and push and push, getting up in the morning just to overall crash. Or maybe you're giving into self-soothing because you are so exhausted. You're not getting that purpose, that fulfillment, or simply you're just tired all the time. Whatever it may be, these are all potential signs of being misaligned. So here is a myth of motivation. The cycle when it comes to motivation is as follows. Think of it like a dopamine spike. Okay. So when we are trying to accomplish something, at first we get the original high. Maybe you go to an event, right? And you get super pumped up and excited. Maybe you just had an amazing session, or you watched a really good video that just pumped you up. Or it could be as simple as you just had a coffee or something and now you're rounded up, you're ready to rock and roll. So your dopamine is spiking. Then everything goes pretty smooth at the start, right? But then eventually you start crashing up and down. It's no longer in flow. Instead, it feels like it's super hard to keep going, keep consistent. You're starting to dread the day. All those meetings, all those extra things that you should be doing, you just dread. You just do not want to be doing it. And then eventually we get a crash. Right? So think of motivation like you're going to go take caffeine, and think of alignment like you're just breathing oxygen. Right? Caffeine, you might think it's going to get you there faster because you'll get a spike, but you're also going to get the crash as well. Oxygen is going to be stable and keep you in flow, keep you consistent. I remember when I was building my weight loss coaching company, I would be working non-stop, going at it all these hours, putting all this work, but yet it was never, ever enough. And I would find myself going in these cycles where I would just get completely burnt out, completely check out. Maybe I'd hit a huge successful goal, and then quickly right after I would just self-sabotage. Now, what burnout really is that it's not laziness. It's simply that we're out of alignment. What I mean by that is that typically you'll know this because you feel like the things you're doing are forced. You'll notice it because you're noticing a lack of meaning, or perhaps you're just completely exhausted even after resting well. Okay. And also another thing when it comes to the nervous system is that you might be in the sympathetic state, which is the fight or flight state. Now, anybody knows anything about the nervous system, when you're in this state, you're not healing and repairing. You're not thinking clearly. Instead, you're foggy, you're stressed, and you're unclear. So that's what burnout is. And there's a big problem nowadays because everyone always pushes that you got to go work so hard. You got to go grind your butt off. You got to do things that you don't want to do to get what you want. But have you ever questioned, like, is that actually universally true? Or is that just kind of what they were programmed and believed, and that's what they did, and now they're telling you to do that because that's the way that worked for them? But does it have to be that way? Do you have to go and go and go until you're completely crushed, you're end of energy, you're wondering what's the point of even doing this? No, it doesn't have to be like that. We don't have to keep playing that story over and over and over again. I know for me, when I stopped playing that story, my entire life changed. So when it comes to alignment, alignment is when you're in flow with your real, authentic self. And what I mean by that is think of it like this. Think of there's like a river. Okay. Instead of trying to go up against the river and say, like, well, I should be going this way because of this and this and this. No, you just allow the river to take its course and you get in flow with it. It's much more easy breezy. Right? So alignment is when you're taking action and you're coming from a place of proper values. You're taking aligned action from core aligned beliefs. And also you're aligned with the vision of who you actually want to become. You're all in sync. So here's an example. Let's say I have a limiting belief of I'm not good enough, right? So I'm taking action based off that limiting belief, that core belief of I'm not good enough. So what am I going to act? How am I going to go out into the world? I'm going to try all these crazy things to accomplish these big rewards and big successes. But what am I going to keep getting is more of I'm not good enough. It's still not good enough. I need more. And it's going to keep going and going and going. Does that feel like flow to you, or does that feel like resistance? That's how you know that you're not aligned, is that it's resistance. It's not feeling expansive. If anything, it feels like it's constricting you. So, misalignment, another example is again, you're going up the stream, right? You're not in flow, we're going up the stream. And this is where typically we're acting based off limiting beliefs or we're taking action based off fear. A big common fear for the high level people that I work with is money. Right? I never have enough. We come from a place of lack, so we go try and get more, 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 but it will never feel like enough because the root that we're taking action from is not enough. It's coming from lack. So we're just going to keep getting more and more and more of that lack. So acting off limiting beliefs or fear. Number two is the should do statements, right? Instead of what you actually want to do. Oh, for example, when I first built my weight loss coaching company, my parents, and nothing wrong with them, they just want me to be safe, but they didn't want me to do that. They applied for me in college, they put me in and everything. And I remember the school called, told me, and I got accepted into this course that had like a 1 to 2 year waiting list. And I just told them on the phone, my mom was at the front of the stairs, and I said, no, you can cancel that application because I want to follow my dream. I want to follow what was most alignment with me. At the time, my parents didn't understand that, but fast forward 5, 6 years later, now they're my biggest supporters. But if I would have followed that path of what I should do because other people want me to do it and it's more safe and secure, I would be acting from fear and misalignment, and I would just keep getting that more and more in my life. I would probably be so unhappy and depressed if I went that path because it's not me. It doesn't make me more me. It would take me against myself. And that's how you know you're misaligned, is acting off limiting beliefs and fears. Number two, acting off the should do's and not what you actually want to do. And then number three is always searching perhaps for external validation. If I do this, maybe they will accept me. No. What keeps you fulfilled? What makes you feel more alive? That's how you know if you're aligned. So here's a misaligned example. Let's say someone's like, you know what? My actual dream is I want to have a foster home for or care, a center for dogs to help dogs and recover and heal and just live an amazing life, the ones that people don't want. Okay, that's a beautiful, beautiful dream. But then let's say it's like, okay, my external influences, my family, my parents are like, but you can't do that. You'll never make money. You'll never succeed on it. So I think I should probably just go do law instead. Well, does that feel more expansive for you, or does that feel like you're playing it safe? You're coming from a place of scarcity. So I should go do law instead. Let's say then the next one is I work so hard because success takes hard work. It's all I know. It's all I know that if you want to make money, you got to work your guts out. If you want to lose weight, if you want to do these things, you got to work your guts out. But you got to question it. Like, is that actually universally true? Or is it just this program, this story that so many of us are playing out? Because I'll tell you right now, if that's universally true that, success in making money where it may be takes super hard work, the people who are doing the concrete work, who are working their freaking butts off, would be the billionaires. But it's not like that. So it's not universally true. And that's just a small example when it comes to money. This ties into weight loss, health, the whole 9 yards. But we often got to question these programs and these sayings and these ways of being that most of us live our lives. So the next one is maybe I need to accomplish more to feel secure. But is that coming from a place of expansion or a place of safety and security, right? Are you trying to just survive or are you trying to thrive? So that is a misaligned example. Okay, now the shift. The shift here is number one, how you make this change, how you get back into alignment is number one is that you want to observe. You got to be aware of the situation, right? If we don't know what to change, we will not change. So we need to be aware. You can't change something if you don't know what's actually wrong, right? If we're not aware of the problem, we can't change it. So number one is we got to be aware, which comes from being the observer of our lives, not getting caught up in the story. So just ask yourself, what drains me most in my life? What is not giving me life? What is not fueling me? What is not making me feel more like myself, making me feel more whole and complete? What pulls me back? Those things right there. Maybe it's certain actions. Maybe it's thoughts that you have about yourself. Maybe it's feelings. That's how you're going to find the core limiting beliefs. Then number two is you can rewire the resistance. Now think of it like this. If you look at the bottom here, let's say this is you now, and on the right is the goal and your aligned self, right? So maybe the aligned self is like, I just want to feel free. I don't want this weight to run my life anymore, right? I don't want these fears I have to run my life anymore. I want to feel free. I want to feel in flow. I want to just be able to be happy, right? So what we do is after we're aware and we observe all these limiting programs, I call them, that we have, that society, culture, people, parents, stuff like that program into us as we grow up. Now it's our job to unplug them so that way they don't keep getting passed down and we can flow through it. So that's where we rewire the resistance. Resistance is anything that is in the way of you being more of you. And resistance is typically always tied into a limiting belief or a fear. But it always, always, always is tied into a core limiting belief or a fear. And our job is to rewire that resistance, so rewire the limiting beliefs, right? So for example, to succeed, it's very stressful. Let's say, that's one of your limiting beliefs, that if you want success, it's going to be very stressful. Because if you have a core belief that success ties in with stress, you're going to go find that in your life, because the way that the brain is designed is that it doesn't care if it logically doesn't make sense. The brain just wants safety and security. So if that's all you've known, that's all you're going to search for and find. Your brain will literally filter out things or filter in things to align with its core belief systems. And you can't out willpower this because you're only conscious about 5% of the time. 95% of us or 95% of our lives being lived is from our subconscious mind, where your traumas, your core beliefs are, your patterns, habits, all that stuff there. So we can't outwork the external and try to change it. We have to change the internal, and then the external then changes as well. So this is where we get to rewire that resistance. So the limiting beliefs, right? The fears. The example as I was talking about is that success equals stress, right? That's all what you've always known. If you want to be super successful, it's going to be super stressful. Well, is that universally true? Is that true in all cases? No, it's not. So what must be true? And then once you rewire those limiting beliefs, you can implement the new empowering beliefs. Because if you don't know, if you haven't seen my other trainings, your core belief systems are producing the thoughts that you have. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts held for about 7 seconds produce emotion. What neuroscience shows is that a thought and emotion held nonstop, neurons that fire together, wire together, will create your identity. You naturally take action based off your core identity. And then actions produce the results in our lives, which then reinforce that core belief system. So we change the root and everything else follows as well. And then number 3, we've got the body. So you can't just change the mind, because sometimes you'll lose your sense of self and we'll go back to old programming. We have to change the nervous system as well. The body is a second mind. Okay, so the body reset is basically just getting your nervous system on track, where it's in a parasympathetic state, which is like your safe, healthy, proper state of being, and not in fight or flight anymore. So you got to make that your new normal, that, hey, success is not stressful. Success is ease for me. Success is natural. I already am successful. Make that your new state of being. And then you want to act, because you have to act, because to get results in life, you must act, right? You cannot think your way there. You have to take action. And then number 4 is just keep aligned with the vision and keep consistent. Keep in flow with focusing on where you want to go. And all these resistance, it will pop up like a sore, like a thorn in your skin. It's going to be pushed to the surface. And this is where it's like the pain or suffering can happen, right? Where stuff is going to pop up on this journey to alignment. But remember that before you rearrange a room, it must get messy at first. So if you want the freedom, these limiting beliefs and fear around money or safety and security must go. So you must work through those and release those in order to get to where you want to go. But that's where a lot of fear comes up, of fear of change, fear of the unknown. This is how I've always been. I don't know what's on the other side. And a lot of us retreat. I'm telling you, be courageous and move forwards, move through it. An example, I had a client who, she came to me and she built massive amount of self-respect, and she changed her limiting beliefs around her own self-worth, her own self-respect, and making herself a priority in her life, and not just her family, kids, work, whatever it may be. She lived majority of her life working nonstop, very, very hard at work, and in turn, she started to struggle with her health and how she felt about herself. After we did some rewiring, we set up a good action plan. This girl now has moved across states. She's in a brand new remote job that is absolutely fulfilling for her. She lives in a beautiful community that's aligned with her health and her body goals. And she's lost a great amount of weight. And now she's in flow and being the woman that she actually wants to be. And she's making herself a priority without guilt. She respects herself without the guilt. She's fully in flow. So that is the training for today, guys. It's alignment and not motivation. Focus on alignment, focus on oxygen, and not more caffeine. And if you want my free course to learn exactly how you can understand yourself to create your dream self, to learn about how quantum physics, neuroscience, some spirituality and science connect together to transform yourself, I got a free course below that you can tap the link there below in the description and you can have access to it. But other than that to go, guys, if you did benefit from this training today, please like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys on the next training. I appreciate you so much. Have an amazing day.